Cord. Okay, and then I'm gonna go throw that up there.
All right. Open the
Share.
gates.
Open the floodgates.
All right.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome.
Greetings.
Hello.
Hey, Sam, let me know when we should move forward. Maybe just wait another
Yeah, we'll give another minute or two.
sounds good. Welcome, everybody.
Hello.
All right, we'll get started in about 30 seconds. How many do we have? Wait, anybody waiting out there?
Now we're bringing them in as they come in.
All right, good, good,
Yeah, we have
good
a,
crowd.
a nice turnout. We got
I
30
know,
people. Yeah, no, this is great.
really good. That's a beautiful shot, isn't it?
Yep.
That is lovely. Welcome, everybody. We'll get started in just a second. Yeah, more people. That's a good turnout. Wow. Excellent. We'll just give it another 30 seconds and then get
Yeah.
started. Okay. Or when people stop showing up. It's great. Great turnout, everybody. Thanks for giving your evening.
What's the number right now?
It is
We're at
43.
43.
Right. There'll be more.
Hope so. Okay, well, should we get started? What do
Yeah,
you
let's
think?
get started. Let's get started.
Okay. Fantastic. So good evening, everybody. Welcome. My name's Rebecca Dmytryk. Before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. Please make sure to remain muted. Have your audio off. After my brief presentation, it'll be very brief. We're going to open this up to a dialogue. So, because this is a workshop and I want to hear from you, we want to dialogue together. So, that's when you're going to have an opportunity to ask questions and share concerns. And to do so, we ask that you please raise your hand and you'll find that at the bottom of your screen. If you don't see it, you can move your cursor and it'll pop up. You can also use the chat feature. So those are those two things you see here in the image. So before we begin, I want to thank Mark Galanty and the Venice Canals Association for hosting this event. Also acknowledge Max Regis with the Los Angeles County Department of the Agricultural Commissioner's Office Weights and Measures, and Chief Deputy Sean Silva with Councilwoman Tracy Park's office, as well as my colleague Sam Ramirez and Edith of Humane Pest Control, Inc. So thank you all for being here tonight. Just a brief background. I've been working with wildlife for over 40 years, and over the last decade, coyote intervention has become a major focus of my work. In addition to offering advice and workshops like this one, my partner, my work partner, Angus, and I, we get hired to conduct coyote population assessments to evaluate coyote behavior and help develop and implement response plans. And I've worked with a number of local cities, including the city of Pasadena, Beverly Hills, Manhattan Beach, and the city of Belvedere. So my goal tonight is to share my initial recommendations and then open the discussion so that together we can identify additional practical steps to what we want to do is reduce the conflicts and improve safety for both people and pets in your special community. Um, I'm going to be speaking as though most of you have watched this video. If you haven't, it's critical for you to understand the biology and ecology of coyotes, how they work, so that it makes what I'm saying is going to make sense. Okay, I want to start off and show you how I track coyote behavior and activity in this is all of Los Angeles. I use a color-coded system to identify behavior. Like, for example, in purple, it represents just normal behavior. The green circles indicates a confirmed family unit. The yellow I use to indicate the lowest level of somewhat concerning behavior. So when a coyote behaves or lunges or bites a dog, that's going to be yellow, and it gets warmer as behavior escalates. I also map other factors that influence coyote behavior, including vacant properties, construction sites, and other attractants. So this is the first step in solving coyote problems within a community, is documenting what's really going on and where. So this map was created from data that was provided to me by Ramon. He's here with us tonight. Thank you so much. It's fabulous. It was based on a reporting form that he designed. Very, very good, very comprehensive. So now I want to play this clip and just watch really closely. It's chronological, so you're gonna see the movement between these dots and notice how it seems like the activity has moved from kind of being in the center to maybe now more towards Howland and Sherman Canal, um, 28th and Dell and Ocean. But this is based on your all's reporting. You got to report, otherwise we don't know. So again, this is just kind of the initial go around, but based on excellent data collection just recently. So we appreciate that, Ramon. It really gives us a good insight. Now, the behavior that's been described, coyotes following people with dogs, that's really indicative of there being pups nearby. Coyotes will shadow or escort people with dogs, hoping to move those dogs along. But some people have described seeing pups. But here's what the pups might look like this time of year. They're only going to be about three and a half, I don't even think, maybe 4 months old. So think about a dog, a 3.5-month-old dog. It's going to look very different than an adult. You're going to have outstanding ears, really big ears, and they're going to be super shy. So in your future reports, please try and indicate if you believe it was an adult or you really were sure it was a pup, because it'd be really nice to get that on those reports as well. Okay, so my initial recommendations, again, we're going to open this up to discussion, but just based on what I understand at this point, I think definitely continue collecting data, report sightings and encounters, but also report food like attractants, like overflowing trash bins, pet food that's left outdoors, intentional feeding. I don't know if that's going on. Potential harborage areas, like where coyotes might be spending a lot of time. They feel safe and quiet, like vacant lots. And as more information comes in, we're going to begin to fine tune our strategy based on the actual patterns rather than assumptions. Secondly, consider organizing at the block level. And I think Ramon's already started this. Block captains, maybe they could use scare sticks or provide what's called coyote scare sticks. You'll know that from the video that you watched. Coyote scare sticks, those should be handed out to those who want it. It's a hazing prop. It helps you haze the coyotes away. It also can be more of a protective tool in case they get critically close, because it gives you an extension of 2 feet of your arms. But it's really good. I think everybody with a dog should have one and carry one with you when you walk. They may also, the block captains might also want to identify residents that won't be able to haze themselves, and let them know, look, if you see a coyote, let me know, and then we can come out and supplement the hazing, go out and haze for them. And then finally, at some point, it might be beneficial to have either our company, Sam's, possibly the county ag come out and do a yard or neighborhood assessment. But before doing that, I think that we should talk about, see what you can accomplish with just this information you have here. Now, before I conclude, that was pretty short, right? Before I conclude and we get to our dialogue, I just want to address a question, excuse me, that was raised by one of the residents there about coyote attacks on people. Just to be clear, there's only been one confirmed fatal coyote death, a human death attributed by to a coyote in the United States, which occurred in 1981. And then as for bites, they're extremely rare. Research suggests the potential for maybe 10 bites a year across the US and Canada. And it's my understanding that here in California, nearly every bite on a child has been related to people feeding coyotes nearby, hand feeding coyotes. And as weird as that sounds, it is so common. It's awful, really. But anyway, look at those numbers, right? Compare those numbers to domestic dog fatalities, an average of 40 per year fatalities in the US, with about 800,000 bites that require medical treatment, really serious bites, dog bites. In California in 2022, there were over 48,000 serious dog bites requiring medical attention. So I bring this up because if we're talking about being safe when walking dogs, we need to also consider being safe with off-leash dogs. They're even a more serious threat than coyotes because dogs do not have that instinctive apprehensiveness of humans that the coyotes do. And believe me, this is not meant to minimize concerns about coyote bites. But if we're talking about safety while walking your dog, we have to consider the threat of off-leash dogs as well. Okay, I am going to end this. Let me see if I can get out of here. Let's see. Sorry, my computer does weird things. There we go. Stop share. All right. I think I'm not sharing anymore. Is that right?
Right, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, I'd like to open this up for Mark. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, just quickly, I wanted to thank, make sure that Lori Shapiro from Open Temple, who introduced us to Rebecca and this organization, as well as um, Mr. Lamont, Jeff Lamont, and a few other neighbors who also recommended this organization. They're, I think, really helpful. Our goal today is to come up with a plan on how we can eliminate
What?
the coyote issue. What people should know is that I've been involved with coyotes for over 40 years because I grew up in the Palisades, Santa Monica Mountains with coyotes, and then in Culver City where I have lived, we had a very serious issue with coyotes for a very long time, and we used these techniques that Rebecca's going to be discussing and going through with as we have these conversations, and they've worked here because we had daily sightings here, and I think we haven't seen a coyote in 6 months now, for 4 to 6 months. No one's reported a coyote. So I believe we can resolve this. Recently in Santa Monica, there was a sighting, and our wonderful next door, 1/3 of the people were like, "Let's catch and kill them," and the other third was like, "Let's feed them. They look hungry," and then everyone in the middle saying, "Just scare them." And we need to come together to one direction to work together. And I think what we're going to discuss today is scaring them, because if we remove the coyotes, as Rebecca would explain in her video, as you've seen in the video, they will just repopulate into the area again, and we will be dealing with a new set of coyotes. So our goal is to make it so they don't want to be in the canals. It's not a conducive place for them because of our sidewalks, as everybody knows. And we're going to work together to figure out how to make them move on and not make this their home. So anyway, that's it for here. I'd like to also give our councilwoman's field deputy Sean Silver a few seconds to say hi. Just want to point out to everybody, we always want to go to our city councilwoman whenever we have a problem, but when it comes to these animal issues of wildlife, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that really the state is the only one that has the power over wildlife. And so that's why the counties are limited and our city council is limited, and so is the federal government limited. So that's why we need to work together to solve this. So that's basically what I want to say. So if it's okay, Rebecca, I'd like to introduce introduce Sean Silva. Sean, are you there? We can unmute you.
Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, I'm so sorry that I'm off camera. I'm actually in the middle of heading to another event, so I just wanted to make sure I'm going to stay monitoring this in my headphones. I do want to hear everything tonight. But let me start off by saying thank you to the Venice Canals Association for springing into action. Again, I'm forever grateful for your support when a lot of these issues come up. There are many, many issues which are municipal in nature. And as Mark said, this is not really one where we as an office can do anything but a supportive role. And I don't say that to start off with a limitation, other than I think it's a fair assessment to make that if our office can do something on the municipal side with regard to city services or by being responsive through some city department, we will guide that and we will make it happen. But a lot of this issue tonight, you'll hear sort of elides or eludes that typical line where it's just a city issue and there's something for us. So much like some other issues, we have been talking to other partners. That includes CDFW, that Fish and Wildlife. It includes the County Agricultural Commissioner's Office. There used to be a fantastic person I worked alongside, Inspector Bondi, who has since moved to another division or another department. I don't recall. I don't want to take too much time. I just want to say, we're committed to working hand in hand on some of these more complex issues, and we're happy to do whatever we can if there's a recommendation from the experts, whether they be in the government or not, to support. So I'll leave it there. I'll be monitoring, but apologies, I will be stepping into another meeting. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to me the normal way. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Sean. And just a reminder to everybody, the housekeeping we went over early on, we're going to take questions and hear your concerns by your raised hand. So if you can, and you want to speak and ask questions or share something, go ahead and just raise your hand. You'll find it at the bottom of the screen. If you don't see it, just move your cursor and it might pop up. It should be kind of center of that bottom bar at the bottom of your screen. So first, is it okay if I go ahead, Mark, with Mary Jane?
Yes, please do.
Okay, Mary.
Hi, this is Mary Jane and Marika. We live together. I have a couple questions. Do you want me to ask them one at a time?
Yeah, one at a time would be great.
Okay. So I have two small dogs and have had a few encounters with the coyotes. My main concern is that my small dogs, when they see the coyotes, start barking and lunging, and they're terrified, right? One of my dogs actually has been attacked, nearly killed by a coyote few years ago. So I think has some particular, I don't know what the situation was in that instance. It was not in the canals and I wasn't there. I found my dog later. So I don't know what happened. But my question is, how do I make, I watched most of your video, sorry. And I know that they're not there to eat the dog as food, but I feel like my dog is creating a threat to them, in a way, and maybe even their barking is making it worse. So how can I mitigate that? Today, for instance, this morning, again, it wasn't so late. It was like 10:30 this morning. I was walking over Dell, which is our main road with cars, and there was a coyote half a block on the canal sidewalk.
Angel?
And
my girl.
I started screaming, hazing, nothing happened, and then it started coming towards us, and my dogs are barking. So I just don't know how to mitigate that when my dogs may be making it worse. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. So your one dog, or maybe both of them, we call it reactive. They're highly reactive towards the coyotes. I think making a scare stick. Did you get to the part in the video about the scare stick?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you guys all just really briefly. A coyote scare stick is a planter stake made out of bamboo. It's 2 feet long, so 24 inches. At the top is mylar ribbon, and you make long little streamers of it, and you tie it on there with electrical tape. You guys can all have a little video of this later, and it'll show you how to make it. It's real cheap to get the stuff online, but I think that we are talking about having an organized effort to make these and pass these out. So I think, Mary Jane, if you introduce the scare stick to your dogs while you're in a controlled environment, your house, and get them used to it. Get them used to you waving it above your head and making that sharp noise in the air, because when you whip it through the air, it makes this crazy noise that the coyotes don't like. So get your dog, this goes for everybody, get your dogs accustomed to it so that they are not going to respond. but I have a feeling your dogs are gonna, you can also train your dogs with it too, to not be so reactive. They may settle down a little bit when mommy has the scare stick in her hand. Make sure that they do not have collars or harnesses on that they can slip out of, because just in case they do respond one way or the other to the scare stick and or the coyote, you don't want your dog slipping out from the harness or collar. So that's a precaution to take. So scare sticks, if I were walking your little dogs, I would have the dogs as close as I can to my side and kind of as controlled as I could, and then I would just walk. And I'm gonna use my eyes. I'm gonna project my energy. If the coyotes they read us. They are always reading us, and that's one reason why they get used to in some neighborhoods being non-responsive, because nobody chases them to the degree that they need to, or how they should. So I think that's number one, is get a scare stick and start walking with that, and getting your dogs a little more under control that way. What was your second question?
Well, can I follow up with that? So are you
Yeah.
saying to advance? Here's the other complication.
Yeah, advance,
For
walk.
me, okay. But from this particular for me, but I also have a very small baby, a 3-month-old. And most of the time I have to bring my 3-month-old because I'm a single parent. So is it unreasonable to have some fear with that, or does that not matter? Like in a stroller?
My fear would be your uncontrolled dogs.
Okay.
If you're uncontrolled dogs, and I'm saying it as respectfully as I can, but if your uncontrolled dogs go wiggling around and get caught up in the baby stroller or make
That's
you
what happens.
fall, that's not good, right? So that worries me more than, I mean, you could walk by a coyote with a baby in your hand or your stroller all day long. It's not going to do a thing. It's your dogs, and your dogs are reactive, and maybe they're flipping the finger to the coyote, and the coyote's like, what?
Yeah.
Right? So there's this dog communication going on that we don't necessarily understand, but you're in control.
So even if the dogs are barking, which I mean, I hear you, do I think I'm going to get them not to bark anytime soon? Probably
No,
not. So
no.
even if they're doing that, I should still advance, even if
Yeah.
they're barking at the coyote. Okay.
Is your baby in a backpack or a belly or a
Both. I've
stroller?
tried a stroller, and exactly what you just said happened, which is there was chaos and the stroller tipped over. And I've
Ugh.
tried also in a carrier, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean yeah.
Tricky.
It's tricky, but it's not true. I'm a dog trainer, so
Okay. Oh, well, maybe I can have you over.
I would get control. It worries me about the tangling of the dog. If your
Yeah.
baby's in the backpack, I'm not worried, or
Okay.
or in a front
Yeah,
carrier
yeah.
thing. So that's no worry, because you have your hands, you got your dogs under control.
Yeah.
You could probably even lift one of the dogs in your arms and walk. But
Yeah.
now you have this scare stick. You have this 2 feet in front of you. You can whip it in the air. That
Okay.
kind of gonna go running so scared. And
Okay.
if in some weird world a coyote does come close when you have this scare stick, you
Yeah.
can pop it on the head.
Okay.
And I wish I had the video to show you from my mentor, Lesley. She has a picture of a woman walking a little dog. It's a terrier, so it's a little rat terrier, and it can be that way, right? And the woman just pulls it back to her side, has her ankle in front of the dog's neck, just kind of blocking the dog, and the coyote just walks by with not a problem.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
not all coyotes are going to bite dogs. Not all coyotes want to bite dogs. So right now we're in a situation where we're trying to learn exactly what's going on in your community. I do think there's a family there. I do think they're reactive is because they're protective of their pups. But
Yeah.
don't think that all coyotes are going to be that way. You can have a coyote just not
Walk right by
dog
you.
at all. Okay. And
So
Mary,
what was
one
the
more
second
quickly on that second
part of
question.
my question was that so only exclusively the scare sticks, or still the air horns and coin cans and all that stuff, or
No.
just the scare sticks?
Audio hazing tools do not work in the urban environment. It has to be something novel, new. And what do coyotes hear all the time in the city? Horns, whistles, this and that. So The scare stick is something brand new. They've never seen Mylar ribbon attached to a stick, and they need to see you being the best banshee you can be too. Like, I just going after it, okay? Everybody
Okay.
get crazy with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, good. Thanks. And now, let's see. We've got who was next? Was it Lori? And then Eric, we'll get to you next.
Hi there, it's Lori and Joel Shapiro. I have to keep it.
Hi.
How are you? It's great to meet
Good.
you. I
Good
watched
to
your
meet you.
video. I'm wondering if you're familiar with the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska study, a review of successful urban coyote management programs implemented to prevent or reduce attacks on humans and pets in Southern California.
Was it with Tim? Was the author Tim?
Rex,
Robert Tim?
no, Rexo Baker.
Okay. And how old was it?
It's in the 21st century, so it's not antediluvian. And they study Southern California, and I just want to read. The concern that I want to just spotlight for our community is the uniqueness of the canals and the narrow paths, and people having tourists and babies and strollers and things that are not common. When we think of coyotes, we think of large backyards and more suburban areas. Ours are pretty urban, and especially with the endless buffet of ducks in the canals, which we've seen an attrition of this year. We've seen a lot of duck carcasses left over from the mauling of the ducks. It's very hard to limit the food source for these animals.
Right, but we're going to
I-
make it hostile. The idea is to
yeah, so I
make
just want to
less
read
hostile.
in the study itself. It says the commissioner's program, which suggests things as you are suggesting, Rebecca. The program continues to be effective in educating the public on coyote issues and has active coyote management programs in numerous communities within LA. However, some communities wait until the coyotes are too habituated to the urban habitat to easily change behavior by hazing or removal of one or two coyotes. In these situations, a larger number of coyotes may need to be removed in order to stop or prevent human injury. This is not me speaking. This is the University of Nebraska study.
And it's ancient
Can you-
history, Lori. I'm going to stop you right there. That's ancient history
I'm
and habituation. I know.
Mark, I'm going to send this to you, and I
Send it
hope if
away.
everyone is okay to circulate it with everyone in the canal so they can read this study. Rebecca, please speak. I'd love to hear your response.
Okay, thank you. And thanks for bringing that up. It is ancient history. We don't use that word habituation anymore because that means that animals do not respond. For example, ground squirrels living next to a freeway and the cars rushing by and they're going about their business, they don't respond anymore. Coyotes aren't habituated. They don't get habituated. They are always fearful of humans. Always. I've never known one that wasn't scared to death of me. And you can be that way too. The coyotes, so habituation isn't, we use the word tolerant. They learn to be tolerant of the presence of humans. A lot of people feed coyotes and bring them close, or they'll toss them food, or they'll put food in their backyards. And when the coyotes come in to our urban areas, to our backyards, up to people for handouts. So that's proximity tolerance. They're tolerating because they get a reward. In my video, you might have seen the juice is worth the squeeze, right? We can turn that around. They don't have to be killed and when we kill them,
No one is saying killing them, Rebecca. We're talking about trap and release, which
that
is
doesn't work.
why
Lori.
Sam
I
is
don't,
on
Lori,
the phone.
Lori, it's not allowed in California. You know what? I'm going to open this back. I'm up to
Oh,
Max. Are you still there? I'd like Max to chime in on this if he's still here.
Yeah, I was just raising my hand. Hi, everyone. My name is Max Regis, and I'm the Chief Deputy for the Agricultural Department here in the County of Los Angeles. And unfortunately, Lori, there isn't such a program. So reside within the city of Los Angeles. The city of Los Angeles would have to have some sort of trapping and euthanasia program. There isn't trap and release. So my department, what we do is when we are called in an unincorporated part of the county or within a city that we have a contract with, we go out, we observe the coyotes, and we are looking for coyotes that are aggressive, displaying aggressive behavior. This is prior to actually biting someone. If they bite someone, that gets referred to CDW and they conduct their investigation. So what we do from there is we do capture the coyote that is in question, and it is euthanized on site. And that is
Right.
typically done by shooting them. So there isn't a trap and release program. We can't rehabilitate them and move them somewhere else.
Good, thank you.
Thank
And there is rehabilitation in the sense that we can turn the behavior that's described as habituation, we can turn that around through aversion conditioning, hazing.
I think that what I just want to say as my final comment is I would really request that everyone read the study. I think it brings a different perspective. And when people are scientific, Rebecca, you want to see a 360. And sometimes I felt in your video that you used the word science really just to defend your specific point of view, which is beautiful and compassionate towards the animals. But I am curious about the dynamic of the unique environment of the Venice canals, narrow paths, high density population, and an endless buffet of birds. Thank you
Yeah,
for
let me
hearing
comment on the sidewalks and
Endless
stuff. I
buffet.
know that was a concern of yours that you mentioned earlier. And like I was telling Mary Jane is keep moving forward. Have your scare stick, move forward. I want to bring this up. I feel like there might be some historic relevance to why the coyote's behavior is the way it is now, as opposed to what it was maybe 2 years ago. Is my understanding is maybe there was a lull in people being outside and walking around and being active, that the coyotes might have maybe felt more comfortable moving into the area. Well, we can turn that around. We can make them at a certain time when it's appropriate, which I think, now it's a little early, but you could definitely start on the canals, start making it more hostile for them and kind of squeezing them out, making them feel less comfortable. And I really think it's going to work.
Oh, can I speak?
Let's move. We're going to do Eric, and who was just saying
Chris
something?
Lieber?
Okay, Chris, we're going to take you. Was your hand up before Eric's?
No, I don't know.
Okay, just hang on 1 second. We're going to get to you.
No problem.
We're going to do Eric right now because he's been waiting. Eric, go ahead.
Hi there. Sorry for the background noise. I'm sneaking in around right now, multitasking. I have a comment, but I promise it leads to a question. First of all, thanks to the VCA and Ramon for facilitating, and thanks to you for being here. I've had probably 5 run-ins over the last few weeks with coyotes that resulted in me hazing, and all of those hazings were successful. I was always with my dog, who's a little dog, never felt threatened. My hazing is a 50-cent whistle from Amazon and a good old-fashioned cowboy yell, which
Nice.
I cycle on and off. And it's worked, and I march them down until they hop into a yard or something. I don't want them to feel like I'm threatening them or their cubs so much that they have to actually attack. So, I don't keep chasing them into a yard, but I do move them along. I feel that with respect to the sticks, I wonder if they would be effective as far away as me shouting and whistling would be, because I can see them a half a block away and start hazing, and that mylar stick is not going to make any noise from a half a block away. So I'm just curious if it's a yes and solution as opposed to either or.
For sure, yes, and your cowboy and whistles and noises. I'm just saying, what I'm seeing online is a lot of people going, "Oh, I've got an air horn or a whistle, and it's going to work." I just don't want people to feel that they should rely on that. It's not going to be effective. The human voice is absolutely effective. Being loud, being big. So you're spot on.
Okay, well, I'm not big, but I am loud, my wife tells me, so I've got half of that covered. I do get concerned when I'm hazing that I'm going to confront a situation soon. We've all been discussing, the sidewalks are narrow. At some point, there's going to be someone coming towards me down the sidewalk. That hasn't happened yet. But what should I do then? I don't want to chase a coyote into someone else.
I don't believe the coyote would go into somebody else. So they're going to see that person and either go around them, or coyotes want to avoid people. And we're educating you guys on how to behave when you see one. So hopefully more people in the canals will know what to do when they see that coyote that you're hazing.
Okay, so basically carry on as usual with my lunatic act that I've been doing and trust that the coyote is going to duck out just like it has been.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Eric, we had a meeting this morning at 8, and I believe both people were on this call, and they encountered coyote on Sherman Canal, one coming from one direction, the other coming from the other direction. And the coyote just disappeared on them, and they realized it hopped the fence, went through side yard, went into the alley to get away from
Yeah, I saw that video, and I was the one who chased it to hop over that fence into the side yard this morning.
Okay,
Just the same,
Yeah.
so I saw that guy twice actually. I saw him again. So thank you. That was half the question. The other half of the question is, I am just kind of hazing as appropriate when I'm walking around. But is there an argument to be made that we as a community should be engaging in sort of scheduled community hazing where we meet at 7:30 in the morning and we sweep the sidewalks and we're just screaming and whistling and hooping and hollering until we've walked all the canals to let them know basically they're kind of never safe. It's time to go.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that it'll be part of the discussion with more internally amongst yourselves with the block captains to see, what's best for those blocks, who needs more assistance with supplemental hazing on those blocks, where are the vacant lots? Maybe we need to come in, maybe do some evaluations of those places where they think that they're maybe hiding, resting. So I don't know, but that's great. Let's keep that in mind. I think that's really great.
Okay, thanks. I don't want to tie up more time, but Mark, anybody else, obviously, if you guys are, if you're mustering a posse, I'm happy to help.
That's great. Okay, I'm
Sounds
going to
good.
mark
Hey,
that down.
Briefly
thank
on
you,
this,
Eric. Chris Lieber.
Hi.
Rebecca, sorry, briefly
Oh.
on the community hazing activities. It was part of our initial proposal to potentially organize some of this what we deemed safety block walks. The only problem, and it is a question for you, Rebecca, my understanding is that if those walks hazing the coyotes away are done around where a den could be, that is counterproductive and it could be even dangerous for the people involved.
Oh,
Is that
very
the
good.
case?
We need to look at let's get together and look at those sightings that you got. I think there were 5 sightings that I wasn't aware of recently, and maybe a smaller group of us can talk about where the pups might be and if they're in a safe spot in the sense that we don't want them living under somebody's house, but if they're living in a vacant lot and they're not moving it, they're not coming into the canals because you've made it hostile, but they're going elsewhere. And I think that if you keep this pressure up, that next year when they because these pups are going to disperse, these youngsters that are going to become adults, towards the end of the year and turning into next year, they're going to leave. They don't stay in the area. So you're going to be back to the king and the queen, the male and female partner. If we keep the canals hostile, then there's a good chance that you will not see them. They won't have babies in the canals next year, which is what we want. So Chris, you've been waiting a long
Hi.
time.
Oh, that's okay. Well, first thing is, when this first came to be, we have a dog, and late at night, my other half walks him. But when I heard about the coyotes, I wanted to go out just to see. But I was a little frightened, because I really don't have much contact, obviously, with coyotes. But after I did see them, I think part of it is just the knowledge you're talking about, learning about them. Because after I did see them, and my fear dispersed, and in fact, when I was out with Marika one night, I was just waving a straw hat and walking towards slightly and yelling at that thing, not at that thing, at that coyote, and he or she left. They were curious. She was starting to come forward. And then when I made a fuss, it left. So I think part of it is an attitude that we have this like terrorized fear about them. And the other thing also about euthanizing them, you know, they're very or re-trapping. Everybody goes, well, I don't want to kill them, right? I just want to trap them and drop them off someplace else. These are family-oriented creatures. You're leaving the pups without a mom. You're leaving the mom without taking the mom away from the pups. It's just a horrible thought. That's just a thought, my
Yeah,
personal,
thank
my
you, Chris.
personal thought. And one last thing I want to say, I do agree that we should do some group hazing. It certainly wouldn't hurt, because it's better if they do move on as opposed to staying here and really putting themselves in jeopardy as well. Um, we just had this is I don't know, maybe for the Canal Association, whatever. We just had our trash cans replaced because they were cracked. And I know that's not their primary place to go, but you know, you said they'll eat anything depending. And we asked a neighbor or two that had the same situation, you know, broken garbage cans to get them fixed, and they haven't. And I'm just wondering if somebody could make a suggestion as a general thing that we make sure our garbage cans are not, you know, not just overflowing, but are not broken and cracked.
Yeah,
So,
that's really great. Not overflowing, that they have proper lids, that raccoons aren't getting into the trash and then throwing the stuff out on the ground that the coyotes might eat.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really good. And just to add in there, if anybody missed the video, yeah, coyotes are family oriented. They're very social, and they actually mate for life. They're 100% monogamous.
Oh,
So yeah, pretty cool. All right, thanks,
thanks
Chris.
for your help. Thank you for that.
Really good. Thank you so much. And I think we've got, let's see, who's next? Osmond, go ahead. You're up.
Quick question. I have a indoor outdoor cat that's now an indoor cat. So the uh, he was in a disused house across the street from 415 Howland, and there were two coyotes trying to get him. My son liberated him. I have a feeling that he's going to need to stay indoors indefinitely. But I wanted to let you know I did see a pup last night at about 4 a.m. running into that area.
So that was around 416.
415, which
415.
is on Howland. And so my guess is that uh, they may be, their home may be there because the pup was running very quickly toward that area. And I wanted to know if there was anything I could do with my cat, who's been an indoor-outdoor cat for more than a decade on these canals, but I'm thinking probably not.
Well, consider a catio, maybe like an extension, like a little patio that's covered that he can enjoy the fresh air and sunshine. I don't know if he's a cat that would walk on a harness very well. And there's also a wonderful thing out there called One Fast Cat, and it's this giant like hamster wheel for cats. But it's so wonderful that you've brought the cat in and you're caring for him, keeping him safe.
Okay.
Yeah, in the video, if you watch the video, she shows the catio what a catio looks like. So, yeah. So I also want to point out that a couple neighbors have pointed out that they found the ducks being eaten by the raccoons in the neighborhood as well. And I know in our neighborhood we've had issues with the raccoons also attacking indoor-outdoor cats. So it's not just the coyotes. Okay.
Yeah, super. Thanks. Okay, Rachel Hoffman.
Hi, thank you. I don't see Alexa here, and I'm going to bring up a question that actually pertains to her. She was out walking a dog, very small dog in the evening, and a coyote lunged out of an alley or a bush very suddenly and bit the dog, and she hazed it away. But I'm wondering, for people with small dogs, this was a completely unexpected, there was no view from a distance. The coyote came out of nowhere and bit her dog. So particularly for small dogs, I wonder how to protect against that kind of situation. And she really had to make quite a hullabaloo to chase the coyote off of her dog.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think she's in the reports. Ramon, do you remember that one?
I believe so. I'm gonna check while you keep talking.
Oh, okay. So again, carrying the scare stick, making sure the dogs are used to it, being vigilant, especially if you're out at night. Maybe don't walk the little dogs
Yeah.
out late at night. I'm just trying to take as many precautions as you can to stay safe. And having that scare, usually I carry the scare stick down the back of my shirt, so if I want it, I can just bring it out. It's like a quiver. So I'm not carrying, but um, if it is a little dog and you're out at night, for her situation, carry the stick out in front of you, kind of, so that the coyote can see it, and just be vigilant, head on a swivel, looking around. You
Right.
should, you would do that if, I mean, you should do that, looking for loose dogs as well, or anything
Right.
else. I mean, there's hazards out there you want to be aware of, and just really stay vigilant.
I think
For-
the question too, if I may, I think the question too, though, is what would have provoked a coyote to make that bite on a dog without provocation?
It's
Just,
because yeah, great question. Did you watch the video?
territorial?
Did
Huh?
you watch the video?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so remember, it's the territoriality and it's protecting the pups. So this time of year and in your area, I believe there have been pups. So it's a defensive, protective thing.
Thank you.
Rebecca, what do you think about the coyote vests that are for
Yeah,
dogs?
I've seen them, and I don't know if it's that the coyotes are like, "Ow, that's gonna hurt," or it's just like, "Whoa, what is that?" Right? But yeah, people use them.
Okay.
And just to add to what was just said, Alexa definitely reported. She lives in the area that Osman just described as the potential site where the coyotes are residing with the pups.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, again, I'm not an expert, but I can only infer that they were protecting their den and the pups. I mean,
Do
that's
you,
what I'm
Ramon, do you have that number so I can look it up on my map real quick?
yeah, it's on Road 23, but it's 414 Howland Canal.
Sorry,
Okay,
Ramon,
So
okay.
it's
she
literally
doesn't, she lives opposite the canal of what Osmond's talking about, the north side of Howland, and she lives on the south side of Howland, just to clarify.
okay. Well, okay,
The
perfect. Yeah,
incident happened to Alexa on court B, and what
Courtney.
Osmond's
Oh,
talking
got
about is
it. It's
court
always
C.
confusing.
It's
Right.
it's so confusing.
Yeah.
I have
So
a
it
question.
happened
She's on
on,
the other side of the canal. So then I'm completely wrong. Thanks for the clarification. But I mean, yeah, that's why we need an assessment, I think, by a biologist, maybe from county. I don't know if the representative is still here, but I think that's what for us would reassure us that somebody tells us, okay, this is where it is happening, given your reports and the activity. I don't know if that's possible, but
yeah, but remember, they don't have den sites this time of year. They're gonna have
oh,
rendezvous sites, and they're gonna be all around. And it's you're reporting. The most important thing to go, other than the organization and the hazing and the scare sticks, right? Even the most important thing is the reporting. So I'm going to say that it's going to be Ramon's, right? Because Ramon's most familiar with that form. Well, we'll discuss it, but I think it's going to be your guys' form that you've already built, and just continue. I want you to use my map and just continue plugging those dots in there so we can see the movement, where there are hot spots, and maybe we'll know where they are resting, where the pups are. But if we chase the pups out right now, they're 3.5, maybe 4 months old at the very most. And where are we going to chase them? We're going to chase them to somebody else's problem. So if they're hiding out somewhere that's relatively safe, and the parents are going out, hunting rats and whatnot, ducks maybe, we just have to balance. It has to be a balance of pressure on them and strategic, so that we're not just pushing them out and they go cause problems somewhere else. I had that happen in the city of Belvedere when I was working there, and they just kept getting pushed and pushed when they were just fine. They were fine in the empty lot where they were. Anyway, so
I just want to mention that last night at 4:25, there were 3 coyotes and 2 pups. And
can you
and
put that in the report?
I just found out. My neighbor saw it last night
Oh, okay.
at 5 o'clock in the morning,
Okay.
and that they woke them up, and they just come back from Europe, so they were awake. So, but they saw this that there were
Have them fill out that report.
And
So
was that at 425 Howland or Sherman?
no Sherman.
Mark, it was outside our place. They were screaming. They had this like
Yeah.
they were
Oh,
literally shrieking this morning, and they were kind of running around and
But
going
then
mad.
but they had some pups with them,
Yeah, there were
and
2 pups. There were 2
yes,
pups, and I didn't see I only saw the 2 big ones, and there were 2 pups.
and then
I
but
came down,
then
the
the
2 pups
two
were still
big
there.
ones got another big one. They chased it away, and apparently it ran into our yard of 421.
And then one ran into Mitch's yard as well. So 2 down, one next to Alexa. They ran
Okay.
into
so
their yard as well.
huge
Okay.
favor, guys. Use the reporting form. Ramon, please make sure that Darren and Ann get those so that they can do that. Let's carry on. We've got people that have had their hands up for a while.
Okay.
Peter?
Hi, thank you for being here tonight. But I have 4 cats. 2 of them are feral, and I've had them for like 7 years. And I can keep 2 of them in, but the feral ones, I have to keep the doors open. And I don't want to have my house closed up 24 hours a day. This morning at 11 a.m., one came right by chasing the ducks at 460 Howland Canal, where I live on the corner, and charging into Easton, where there were 2 ducks. But I can't keep my cats in 24 hours, and I can't sit and watch them all the time. So what's your suggestion for that?
A catio, an extension of
But
your
I've got
open
4
doors.
cats, 4
Yeah.
cats, 2 of them feral. That's impossible. There's
No,
not
I
even
hear you.
room in the garden.
No, I hear you.
And the coyote came right to the door the other day too. So
I
2 of them are
I
not.
hear you about the cats and having them
So you
feral.
have to have 4 of them though, because 2 cats are not friendly with the other one, and to be in a closed-in area, that wouldn't work.
Okay.
So that doesn't help.
Okay, sorry.
Now, do they do attack cats? Because I know they've had some of the cats around here.
It's not like all coyotes eat cats or predate on cats, but it could be. I don't know your neighborhood or what's going on there yet. It's not like a coyote sees a cat and thinks that it's a meal. They have to learn to eat them.
They've learned.
Okay.
Yes, thank
Trust
you.
me. I lived in Malibu for 40 years, and I observed it personally, and I know many people in my neighborhood lost their cats. So it was
Oh,
a
for sure.
regular occurrence to coyotes.
But what I'm saying is not like a wild coyote doesn't see a cat and go, food. They have to be exposed to cats over time, and that usually happens in an urban environment. They're exposed to cats. Maybe a cat is killed by a car, and then they eat it, and then they know that that's going to be food in the future. So that's all I'm saying, is it's just not, it's not an automatic thing.
Hang on, bud.
Okay, so
Okay, thank you.
thank you so much. Heidi?
Yeah, thank you for your support. All of
Just let you know.
Hi. I have a question. Sometimes when I'm walking, I see people walking small dogs off leash, and I'm concerned. There was a gentleman that was walking an elderly dog. The dog was behind him, and I said something to him, and he was offended. My husband was offended. Like, I'm embarrassed, but I said, you should have your dog on a leash. Should that be a concern when people are walking small dogs with no leash?
For sure. For sure.
And what do you say to people? Because the man was offended when I said something to him.
Your dog's in danger of being off leash? And hey, there's a leash law.
Is there is a leash law?
I
Okay.
think there is,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, the other question is we live by a vacant lot. What can the city do? The gentleman from the LA.
Yeah, Max.
Yeah, what can we do if we live next to a vacant lot, if we have concerns that there might be coyotes on their property?
What
Max,
state
you
is
want to take
the lot in? Are the weeds overgrown? Is there some sort of
Oh, it's a house.
It's a house. I'm sorry, it's a house, and it looks like
Unoccupied.
it's an unoccupied house that we can see the gate. You can have access to underneath the house. It's not secured.
access hatch is open?
Yeah,
Oh, is that in the canals?
it's next door to us.
What street is, what is it?
We're Sherman Canal. It's 419.
Yeah, because we've had lots of incidences where they live under the houses. Max, I'm sorry if I'm talking over you. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. A lot of where we see coyotes hanging out, for lack of a better word, is in the landscape. So they like shrubbery that they can get into. They love going into crawl spaces for homes, whether they're abandoned or not. They're not going to care. You could be living in your house. If your crawl space open, they'll make their way in there just like raccoons and any other animal will. Uh, so definitely maintaining the property is important. The person from the city, I can't remember his name right now, but he would be the point of contact for that because that's a city issue. They can send somebody out from code enforcement, take a look at the property, make sure that it's cleaned up. But yeah, that's definitely a
cleaned
problem.
up. We can see into the backyard because we're higher and we don't see any pups or coyotes, but it was just a concern. And I know there's many empty like people that don't live in their homes or empty lots on the canal. So I was just wondering from the county, like if, do we notify them if there's a concern?
So call your city council person, and then they will call the city's folks that come out and do code enforcement. So it's a code enforcement issue.
I'd like to say something to this. So there's quite a few people on this call right now, the Zoom call, that have been very active in helping some of our neighbors realize their houses are in need of inspection and reporting and stuff. And they've been trying. So far, all the owners have been very cooperative. They've been trying to be cooperative, and some are not in the same financial conditions as others. We've brought in a trapper in one case. I just want to point out to everybody that Rebecca here is doing this all for free. She's been helping us figure out this issue and how to solve it for free. But she is available if you've got an issue in your property, your neighbor's property. If we can get permission from the owner, because we know there's quite a few absentee owners, she will come and do a walkthrough and make recommendations. We've got one house that we had to, plug up an opening in underneath the deck that was right along the sidewalk. And so we want to work together as a community to try to see where these issues are, and then together with the cooperation of the owner, help make it an unfriendly place for the coyotes. And so that's what I think the answer is.
Yeah,
and
thanks, Mark.
Just lastly, we're having the 4th of July activities, and I'm more than happy to set up some kind of booth where we have the hazing sticks or something for sale or to make them, or if anybody's interested.
That's a nice idea. And now I'm hearing everybody's like, oh, get the scare sticks. And I'm thinking, okay, we don't want to use them so much though, that the coyotes get used to them, right? They have to be novel. So just remember, no passing scare sticks out to kids and they're running around with them. This is a tool to use when you're walking your dog or when you feel like you have to go out and supplemental haze. Okay. Does that make sense? Because we don't want them to get used to it. Heidi, thanks so much. I'm going to move on because we're getting late. Catherine?
Oh, hi, everybody. Just a couple quick things. I feel for the guy who walks his dog off leash because one of the things, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. One of the things about walking in the canals is there are no cars depending on the route you take. And I know I've walked my little dog off leash for years. But I also have to say, my cats are all indoors. I would never let a cat outdoors. And as soon as I heard about the coyotes, now my dog is on a leash. I also think, we live Venice adjacent, and it doesn't hurt, especially for those of us who are women walking alone, to be super aware of what's happening behind us anyway. So whether you're looking for the human predator or the canid predator, I think having your head on a swivel is excellent advice. So those are my comments. My question, Rebecca, is in your video, which I watched, and I have recommended it to absolutely everybody I know in this city. I have friends in Beverly Hills who have coyotes. For example, since the Palisades fire, they're everywhere, it feels like. So if we do scare them all away, if we do sort of make it uncomfortable to live here, and we lose our king and queen pair, what's to stop the independents from potentially moving back in and building up an even greater population of coyotes?
Yeah, so great. So I'll take it backwards. Greater population, not going to happen. They self-regulate. You're not going to lose the king and queen. They're mated for life. Only if one of them dies, will they find a new mate. So what I'd like to see, because you haven't had coyotes having pups on the canals until recently, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that means we can drive them out. I don't think that the king and queen just automatically found that place. I think they came from somewhere. And so let's just push them out of the canals and they'll go hopefully to wherever they were before. That's an excellent question, though, that you posed. But we're not going to lose the king and queen unless one of them dies. And they're not but if let's say they control the canals, let's say they go through and they mark towards, let's say they control from Venice Boulevard to wherever, south.
Yeah, Washington.
And so they control that, but they're not in there living and having their pups. You'll see a coyote, maybe. I mean, because I don't want you to just have this false sense of security that there's never going to be a coyote in the canals anymore. What we want to do is just make it so, number one, you know how to stay safe if you run into 4 coyotes, which I doubt you will, but one is you know how to stay safe if that happens, and 2 is let's make it a little hostile and get them to not have puppies there next year.
So this is my follow-up question. I know the king and queen are mated for life. I am a good student. So I have a friend who's near Coeur d'Alene's school, and she's also spotting coyotes, which I assume are not our coyotes. So if we make it hostile here in the canals and we push the king and queen away from our immediate territory, so they're having their pups elsewhere, are we just passing along the problem? And since you've done so much work in LA, what has your experience been with passing the problem?
I don't feel. I'm just trying to look up Coeur d'Alene School. Where is that? Is it near?
It's not so.
South and east of Abbot Kinney.
Okay. I will look it up later. I'll make a note to
So
that.
it's east of us and south of us, a bit south.
They were they were there before. They were not in the canals before, is my guess. And they're just going to have to.
They were in that area.
Battle it out and just you're not going to be completely 100% free of ever seeing a coyote in the canals, but just moving this whole family situation out. And I think that you're bringing up some really good stuff about the vacant houses and the subfloor vent being missing. I mean, that could have contributed to it. We had a very successful, my colleague Sam Ramirez is next to me here. He did a great job in West Hollywood. They had this really bad problem on a couple blocks, and it turned out it was one house. They were getting food there and they were living there underneath the house. And so he put in a one-way device. It's a little doggy door that lets them come out and not go back in. And all the food was taken away at that place. And that was successful. No more problems in the neighborhood. So that's what we want to see. Okay, moving on to Lisa.
A couple quick things. What is their water source here? What is their, am I muted? No.
No, you're good. You're good.
What would their water source be here?
I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
you've
where
got
are they drinking from? Just interesting. I mean, I don't know where they're,
gutters.
A gardener said from the drip systems, Lisa.
Oh, are they?
Yeah,
Oh,
from
okay.
that's what he said. A
Okay.
lot of them have been chewed in the canals.
I see.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I mean that's what I heard.
Okay. Also, Rebecca, just somebody brought up the 4th of July. And I'm wondering if it's not a good idea, not that I'm a big griller or anything, but not a good idea to be cooking food outside and leave it, with the possibility of food being left outside.
Well, no, I mean, just everybody has to clean up after themselves, right?
Right. But I mean, maybe it's just something that we should consider not doing until this is a little bit more.
No, live your lives and be responsible. Everybody live their lives and be responsible. Walk down those walkways with your little dogs, carry your stick, be responsible, head on a swivel, barbecue outside, and clean up afterwards. Be responsible.
Okay. And lastly, reporting. So I've only seen a couple far away. I've heard them. Should we be reporting? Because I hadn't heard anything for a long time. I heard last night some very interesting things.
Yeah, don't report the hearing.
Don't report this.
Not even the experts can tell you how many they're hearing. There's something called the low jest effect, and you're not going to be able to tell how many there are, and it doesn't matter anyway. Not in this case, and not in this area. They're around. We know they're around. Okay, moving on because we're just past 8. Eric.
Hi, sorry, popping in again because I forgot to say two things. One is because I am perpetually a glass half full kind of guy, I have noticed not a single rat in the last like 8 weeks in any of the alleys. So I guess I thank the coyotes for that. They're probably eating them. But a lot of people have been talking about, keep your head on a swivel, which I totally agree with. And I have come up with one rule of thumb for myself that just makes that, instead of just a thing that's hard to follow, like keep your head on a swivel, I make sure in every block, when you get to a corner, very natural for everyone to look around both ways at a corner. I just make sure 3 times in every block, I turn around and look behind me because I don't want to get, they have tried to sneak up on me before. And so I just want to be aware that you don't hear them coming. So 3 times in every block, that means you're only gone about a couple 100 feet without turning around to look. You really, from a probability perspective, minimize the odds that you're going to be successfully snuck up on. So that's it.
Fantastic. Great advice. All right, Darren.
Yeah. So a couple of questions. First one is, how many coyotes are we actually looking at? Do you guys believe? Is it the same ones we always see?
Yeah, I think you have 2 adults, possibly 3, but I'm going to say 2 adults right now. And then I don't know how many pups because remember, this is very limited data. So we're going to know more. You guys out there, you keep reporting. And by the end of 2 weeks, we're going to have a lot of data, right, Ramon? That map's going to fill up.
And Darren, we believe pups. We know we've seen 2 at a time.
Okay. Yeah, I
What?
definitely I saw 2 pups this morning. So there were definitely 2 pups this morning. And my other question is, I read or somewhere where someone was talking about wolf urine. Like, would that be if no, don't. Okay, cool.
No, okay,
Cool.
so number one, the commercial animal urine is basically cruelty in a bottle. It's made
Oh wow, okay.
urine from animals from fur farms and urine farms. It's horrible. And your
Good, okay.
pee, your urine, human urine is free and cruelty free, and it works great. But strategically, everything has got to be done strategically. Just
Yeah,
like
but that was my question. So is it worthwhile going and everybody putting urine in their front garden just to try and get to try and kind of make the place inhospitable, or does it need to be replaced regularly?
I don't want them to get used to it.
Okay, fine. That
If
makes sense.
somebody's having a problem and they want the coyotes to move out, they can call me and Sam and we can work out going, okay, I want you to move your patio furniture tonight. But it's got to be a chronic problem. You got to have
Yeah.
oh, the coyotes are there all the time. Yeah, I can get rid of them like that. But don't put all this stuff out and then the coyotes are like, I can get used to this,
Yeah, Yeah, no, that makes sense. Oh, one other thing. One of the guys mentioned earlier that what happens if he's chasing a coyote down the alley and then they see somebody else coming. I saw that happen. They jumped into the water. So they kind of either they jump over the walls, which I've seen as well, or they just jump into the water. They kind of the walls are low enough for them to just vault very easily into the
Yeah, thank
properties.
you for that. They want to avoid human contact.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And if there are only two that we're dealing with, then we pretty much know their temperaments. They definitely I've bumped into them a bunch of times, and they're not particularly wanting to engage.
Yeah, they don't. And that's a really good point about having a stable family unit. If they moved, let's say they moved out of the canals, but they're still around, and you're able to teach them the manners, you're able to teach them these healthy distances to stay from humans and humans with dogs, then here you have, 24/7 rodent control, and you're able to coexist peacefully and in harmony. So that's kind of something to think about too, is if you didn't have a stable pack, if you went ahead and had these guys killed, more coyotes are going to come from all over the place, those transients that were talked about. They might set up shop there. So let's focus on trying to train
Not
these.
kill.
No one is saying they should be killed. Only you.
Lori, did you not hear what Max said? I'm serious. I mean, there is no relocation. So it's trap and kill is the getting rid of, other than us pushing them out. Let's try and push them out. Okay, Sally, Wade, go ahead and unmute, dear.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, so we are operating from the premise that we can't relocate them,
That's correct.
right?
Correct. There is no relocation of wildlife in California for good reason.
Is it available in other states?
Yes, but here's the point that maybe everybody's missing. When you get rid of, whether you trap and kill or trap and shoot or get rid of and relocate, you're getting rid of. It just opens up the area for other coyotes to come in.
Why don't those coyotes come in anyway?
Did you watch the video?
I didn't watch that video, but
Yeah,
I've seen a lot of
video.
videos
Watch
about
my video
coyotes.
because it explains how intensely fiercely territorial they are and how intense they are about protecting their territory. They're keeping all the other coyotes out. So you've got the male and female. On the outskirts, you have all these potential transients, these nomadic coyotes that just continue to travel around and they're looking for places to move in. So if you get rid of these two that control the canals right now, then they will be replaced.
So these two are helping us from other coyote invasions.
Yes, mated pairs keep other coyotes out.
But anything we do, like the scare stick or the noises, they can get used to.
You have to do it strategically.
But they can get used to anything.
Well, I mean,
you said that if we use the scare stick often, they can get used to it and it's no longer effective. And
I don't want kids running around the neighborhood or anybody running around all the time, every day, 24/7 with scare sticks.
It would take that much.
Yes. You're going to do it strategically.
So what does strategically mean?
We're going to work that out among the
And
teams.
they're not out
Okay, I just want
24
to.
hours.
Chris, I gotta mute you. I gotta mute everybody. We're gonna
Let
go.
me just talk for a second.
Yeah, well, okay. Just we're at 8:15 and it was only supposed to be an hour, so I'm running behind.
Okay, just someone interrupted me. I don't know who it was, but we used to have possums under the house here, and we hired someone to relocate them. And
okay, so
I'm hoping their relatives are happy that we did
they
that.
either lied to you.
What's that?
They probably lied to you and said they were relocating them.
No, George had them on speed dial, the relocators of opossums.
Okay.
You don't think there is such a thing?
100% there's not something. The trappers lie all the time and they'll
Really?
tell you, we're taking it somewhere else, and they take it back to the gas chamber at their office. Why would they risk their
So no one relocates animals?
No, no one should. No one professional does. It's a death sentence anyway. So
Yeah.
we're going to continue.
Why is it a death sentence to relocate an animal?
Watch my presentation. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but we're going to move on to other folks that did watch it, and we're going to take Mary Jane next.
So
Hi. Oh, go ahead.
Jane, just one second if I get Sally. So I think what's important to realize is that we have two coyotes here with pups. Those pipes, when they get to a certain age, are going to move off to their own territory. That's happening throughout all of Los Angeles right now. That's why we're seeing them in Santa Monica, Mar Vista, everywhere, Culver City. They're just going to keep multiplying, and they're going to be back to the canals. What we're trying to do is make it so they're more interested because they'll go 1 mile to 15 miles to hang out and roam. What we're trying to do is make it so they're more interested in the Bologna Lagoon than the canals. That's the goal. And when you're hearing the howling, they're basically saying, "This is our territory, stay away." So they're
Good.
kind of, that's part of what the purpose of the howling is. So
That's good. I
Mary Jane,
like that
go ahead.
idea.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mary Jane.
Yes, I'll be quick. Thank you for your time. We live next door to an abandoned property that I'm sure everybody's fairly aware of, 420 Linney. And that property has a fence that's about 6 feet high. I'm curious, a couple things. She has no, the house is dilapidated, sort of roof caved in, definitely rodents and stuff like that. And then she has this fence. How high can the coyotes jump over, or what kind of amount of space underneath the fence do they need to get in? I'm trying to understand whether they could potentially get in there, and is it attractive to them that rodents live there and it's completely.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yes, attractive. The rodents, the quiet, being undisturbed. So definitely it's something to take a look at. And so maybe the block captains, we can talk about the vacant or abandoned places on those blocks, okay?
Okay, and how high can they jump? Last question.
They can leap or vault, let's say vault with nothing. They can vault 4 feet, but they can climb over 8 feet. They have to have leg holds, footholds to get up and over.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, Mary Jane, thanks so much. Gary Evan.
Hi. So I live right next door to Lesley Canal Park, and I did watch your video, by the way. It was great. So thank you for doing this. My question is that I have a pepper tree that hangs over my property. It's all city property, but do I need to cut that back because they could actually climb it, I guess, and get onto my balcony? The same is true of the bamboo, which is really high. And then right behind the bamboo, there aren't any there now because I would hear them at night. But do I need to tell the city that they need to cut some of that back?
I would be more worried that rats are climbing up the
Yeah, we definitely have that.
thing. So I would be more concerned about rodents and raccoons and things climbing up the pepper tree, than the coyotes. And if there's nothing on the balcony for them to want, right? I
I mean,
mean,
it's a balcony with plants and vegetables and stuff.
no cat food. Oh, then it's the rodents. I would worry about that. There's things you can do. You could call me or my partner Sam Ramirez, and we can talk to you about things that can be put on the edge of on the outside of the branches that'll stop rodents from going up there.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay,
Also,
sounds
I want to
good.
point out that one of the interesting things about the video was the fruit and the fruit trees. We want to try to make sure the fruit is not dropping on the ground. It is not reachable by the coyotes because that's a food source for them. So let's look around our houses and our neighbors' houses for potential food from the fruit trees we have.
And Mark, just to add to this, people feed the ducks in multiple places around the canals. That is on the floor. I see it all the time. That
Huge
is
problem.
food. That is food for the coyotes. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know how we would solve that,
Yeah,
but
we have to figure that one out. Thanks, Ramon. That's a good point.
Thanks, Ramon. That was great. I think we have one last person.
And Rebecca, and the ducks, the duck feces in the water contributes to the algae bloom problem that we had. Because I think I worked with this group when the dogs were getting sick in the last few years. So having the ducks is really not advantageous to you. It's definitely following your water quality. And if I could share my screen really quick, I just wanted to show everyone the map of all the reports that we've had in just
Great.
2 weeks. So let me share my screen because you'll see you're not isolated. Are you seeing my screen?
No, we're not.
Not yet. I think it's coming up right now. Hold on. Yep, it's up.
It's up. Okay, so as you can see, this area, you are uh, near the Marina
Yeah.
del Rey area where the
Yeah.
405 is. And there's a lot of reports. And also, somebody mentioned that a lady by the name of Alexia, her dog was bitten. She submitted a report with us. A biologist was assigned to her case, but she didn't give the correct information. So if we can get her phone number, that would be really helpful. But all this to say, check out how many coyotes are in the area.
Yeah. And that was when? How long is
That's a
this?
2-week period.
Who can get us Alexis information to Matt?
It's Gary. I can get it for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Can
sharing
you
that, Max.
can you hear me?
Yes, CJ.
Okay, sorry, my Zoom doesn't allow me to whatever. Okay, I have a real concern for our visitors.
That was what I was gonna say.
I think it's absolutely somehow that's really important that, if they just walk around like, their little babies are running up and down the canals, without, it's amazing, these tourists. And they really are continual. I sit on my, read on my front porch and I can't go more than about 30 seconds without 2 or 3 people going by. And I think they're much more important right now that our people should be starting to get pretty aware of it. And I think it's important to continue, but we've got to be sure we don't have major tourist problems. I don't mind if they want to leave, but we can't start having them attack our tourists. And then
But,
we
but we
soon
opened tonight saying that coyotes so rarely attack or bite at all. And one more comment, and then I have to hop off. Someone please tell Patricia Rickles that the very same email for this has the link for the video. And it's amazing and so information filled, and it's fantastic. And I just want to say thank you. I apologize. I have to leave, and I apologize. I jumped in.
Allie, did you
Thank
get
you.
the question in?
Thanks.
Allie?
I was actually gonna ask the same thing that CJ did.
I've got one more person.
There's so many,
Hang on, guys. Hang on.
Rebecca, there's so
Hang
many
on.
people. Oh, sorry, can you hear me?
Well, I got one more person to get their hand down. It's
Okay,
a
no worries, no worries.
Zoom user, and I just asked you to unmute. I'm not sure who you are.
Hi.
Hi, thanks
Actually,
for your patience.
of course, it's just we're cat owners. And like I think his name was Mark, or I don't know where he is now. He was talking about his indoor outdoor cats. It just, excuse my French, we're just shit out of luck. It is what it is, and this is our new reality, and it's all over the city of Los Angeles. So we just have to get used to it. But are there times, have you received any reports that show times of day? I mean, do you have a lot of activity between like 1 and 3 or 12 and 3, or is it typically a dusk to dawn? Because somebody said, I think it was Mark, I mean, he said 10 a.m. this morning, that was a little scary.
I mean, if you're trying to plan on when you can walk the dog or take the cat out, you
just don't know.
Make a mistake. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. All right. I figured as such, but and really with these tourists, I hate to say it, but there's signs everywhere. And I've told a couple of tourists, please don't feed the ducks. It's just we're having a problem, and you get a middle finger at you. They don't really care.
Not supposed to feed the ducks anyway. They never have been supposed to feed the ducks, but they do.
I know.
Well,
all right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, Mark, do you want to wrap us up? Or Max, did you want to say something before we end as well?
Yeah, I feel for everyone. I have a little tiny guy here. He's 15 years old, blind, diabetic, and I have 2 other senior dogs. So I fully, and I live in an area where there are a lot of coyotes, so I fully get it. But I'm very vigilant when I let them out. And that's all really you can do. And we're going to have to get used to living with coyotes. They're all over the county. They're highly mobile. They're very smart. There's a lot of history with folks trapping coyotes and not being successful. Look up Dan Flores, Dr. Dan Flores. He has some good videos about the history of trapping coyotes in the United States and how it's been an epic failure. So we're not going to euthanize our way out of this. I don't think the public even has the stomach to do what really needs to be done. So, and it's not legal. So with that being said, I feel for you and we can work together. There's a biologist already been assigned to your area. So just let's make that connection and let's see how we can work together. And Rebecca is a great resource as well. So
Life
thank you.
changes.
So
Thank you so
yeah,
much.
so to wrap up this, Rebecca, we should figure out what the next steps are for the community. This is, a workshop. We need to get all our neighbors on board. We want to remove the food for the coyotes are eating as best we can. We want to keep scaring them away, make it unfriendly, and figure out if there are locations they're hanging out and deal with those locations. And we are working on that with a lot of the neighbors are helping us with that. And, maybe the patrol idea is a good idea as well. We could look at that. And if we need to, we can meet again, I guess, in a few weeks or a month. But in the meantime, we're going to work on this. I don't know what else, other issues. I encourage anybody who's concerned about their house or maybe their neighbor's house and they get their neighbor's permission for them to access the property to contact Rebecca or somebody else. And that's, I think, the goal here. I think that's the solutions right now. Rebecca, anything
Mark,
else?
who should people report to? Because it's a little
Right.
confusing. I report
Okay.
to you, but should we all call Ramon?
Yeah, well, Ramon for the reports of when we're seeing.
Okay, so thank you for this. Is exactly what I wanted to clarify. We have a QR code all over the canals. I hope that everyone in this call saw the posts. They're starting to fall apart. I'm gonna send them again. So if you see a poster that is falling apart, and you have a printer, not everybody has a printer these days, but print it out, repost it. That is our biggest tool right now to continue the reporting and seeing what's happening. And I've taken some names today. Eric, I'm going to put you in charge of the safe walks. Heidi, I'm going to put you in charge of the scare stick effort to create them during the 4th of July rubber ducky sale that we're going to do here by the playground. Rebecca, I would love to keep working with you, logging the map. I think we can automate that. I'm going to work on that with you to see how we could connect my sheets to your map. I think the video is so informational. I also hear that people have obviously different opinions and different studies. I am going to look into them. I am always the kind of person who thinks that you need multiple sources when a situation happens. But the study that was mentioned, I believe, is from 1994. There are other studies from the Department of Agriculture. They're all accessible on the internet. Inform yourselves. It's always good to
Read the study first. It quotes.
Exactly. I'm definitely willing to do that, and I will. And then finally, if you can please continue reporting the sightings. I hear the air horns. I don't see the reporting. And just to answer the question that was asked earlier, the peak hours of activity, I have them right in front of me, are from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. So that's when I'm trying not to walk with my dog if possible, but you're all free to do what you want to do.
Right. And for the tourists, our visitors, I'm hoping to work with Max from LA County to maybe put some sandwich boards out and put some posts out so that we can warn people. But
I think that would be great to have them bigger than the 8x10,
Sure,
like they do in
sure.
Yellowstone, the big,
Yeah.
bigger, and do not
But
feed them stuff like that.
yeah, and we'll have to communicate to them. But like the bicyclists with the signs that say "Do not bicycle," they bicycle anyway, so
I
they
know.
ignore it, right? So, but we'll do our best. We'll do our best. So,
Mhm.
I really appreciate everyone joining us tonight. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Ramon. And really appreciate it. And we'll keep this conversation going and keep the work up together. So, thank you.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Mark. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Mark.
Bye.